wonderful world of Disney, part of your family for 25 years.
Howdy, neighbors. I suppose y'all is wondering how come me and my partner Herman here is all gussied up in this here Western type dance. And how come all this cowpokey talk? The next tale I'm going to tell is an old pioneer type story. It's a real tall Western type, tall tale type. Woohoo!
Wonderful world of Disney.
Now, the story I am about to tell you is about 3 tall trees that stood by a babbling brook. One there, and there. No, what am I saying? Not there. It's about 3 blind mice who lived in a little cottage in the woods. And there was the Papa Bear and the Mama Bear, and then there was the Incy Weensy Teensy Itsy Bitsy. It wasn't no bear. Anybody can see what I'm gonna talk about except me. I'm too close. I'm gonna stand back here and take a good look. Anyway, before I start, I want you to meet my assistant. Herman, say hello to our audience. Ah! Ooh, my foot! Herman, you little nut, you! Out, 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 out! You're fired, discharged. From now on, I will do my own assisting. Ooh, boy. What's that sniffling going on? Herman. Oh, Herman. Ooh, I hurt its little feelings. Oh, come on. I was only joking, Herman. You can have your old job back. But, Herman, you have to forgive me. Sometimes I'm just an old foodie-doodie. All right. Now, put the book up here. Here, let me help you. In books of American folklore, there are many legendary characters. These characters all went in for doing big things. Take a character like Herman. He was the... Herman, what are you doing in there? You're supposed to be helping me. All right. Anyhow, this is Pecos Bill. All right, Herman, turn the page. Little Pecos Bill was raised by a wolf. And when he grew up, he became famous for doing big things, like digging the Rio Grande. Then there was the fame of Johnny Appleseed, who plowed and planted apple trees from Ohio all the way out to the western frontier. And Casey Jones, the fabulous king of the railroad engineer. He took the most hair-raising ride in railroad history. And now we come to another famous Casey. Casey, the hero of our national sport, baseball. But unlike the other heroes of legend, Casey became famous because he was a flop. The reason I'm going to tell you about this legendary flop is because of something you don't know. Casey made a sensational comeback. Now to get in the mood, I gotta get into my baseball outfit and into my Irish brogues. All right, Herman, give me the dialect pills. Oh, that's very good. Oh, la, yes, that's a very good. Herman, you give me a long peel. Ah. Oh, that's better. Sure, in Bigara, that's better. Now we got it. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville 9 that day. The score stood 4-2 with but one inning more to play. So upon that stricken multitude, grim melancholy sat, for there seemed but little chance of Casey's getting toward the bat. And so when Cooney died at first, and Barrows did the same, a sickly silence fell upon the patrons of the game. All right, hold that! Foul ball! Stop the ball game! Turn that mechanical pitcher! Oof! Herman, what kind of an American are you anyways? No, Herman, that's not what I mean. Don't you know how to play baseball? I wasn't ready yet. You're supposed to wait until I say, play ball! But Flynn let drive a single to the wonderment of all, and Blake, the much despised, tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted, and they saw what had occurred, there was Jimmy safe at second, and Flynn a hugging third. Hey! Then from the gladdened multitude went up a joyous yell. It bounded from the mountaintop and rattled in the dell. It struck upon the hillside and recoiled upon the flat. For Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. Now Casey let 2 strikes go by. He didn't like their style. But the fans all knew he'd hit the next, a goodly country mile. So now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go. And now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. We have often heard the legend of Casey at the bat. But have you ever heard what happened after that? No cheering fans were waiting as he finished his career. Just lovely Mrs. Casey with a secret for his ear. She whispered that a baby soon would come to bless their life. And Casey was all smiles as he hugged his pretty wife. The pitcher, growing nervous, was aware of Patsy's fame. But suddenly, mighty Patsy was taken from the game. The crowd was in a dither as the girls in horror sat, until Colleen said,
"It's Daddy coming up to bat."
Casey knew it wasn't cricket, but they had to win this game. And when the first strike sailed by, he had his wig to blame. Patsy tried to intervene. He heeded not her plea. The second strike found Casey overcome with modesty. The crowd went wild. They cheered and cheered. Broad smiles lit up their faces. Although it was Patsy hit the ball, great Casey ran the bases. Howdy, neighbors. I suppose y'all is wondering how come me and my partner Hyman here is all gussied up in this here Western type dust. And how come all this cowpokey talk? Gesundheit. Well, it's simple. We're talking cowboy talk, cause the next tale I'm going to tell is an old pioneer type story. It's a real tall Western type, tall tale type. Woohoo!
Herman, watch with that Yahoo there, partner. Or I'm gonna Yahoo you clean out of Manhattan over there somewhere. Boy, all this interruption.
All right now, Herman, partner, let me have that there guitar there.
Let's get this here Western tale wagon. Did you all know that, Herman, get off of there, you cookie bug. Like I was saying, folks, did you all know that Western folks was Eastern folks before they started moving out west in their covered wagon? And did you all know that a lot of these folks were men of the sea who called their wagons prairie schooners? The windswept prairies their ocean, and they made port wherever they went. Well, anyway, folks, one of these here seafaring pioneers become the legend. Yes, sir. Now I'll tell you the story about the Windwagon Smith who sailed the briny sea. But he longed for the smell of buffalo grass and to sail the lone prairie. So Windwagon Smith packed his old sea bag all soaked with the salty brine. And he set his course for Old Westport where he dropped his anchor line. Yippee-yi-yi-yi-yo-ho-ho. Get along, you swabs, get along. I'm a rolling free o'er the lone prairie just a sailing and a singing this year's song. In Kansas land at the start of the trails that led to the Golden West, the Oregon Trail and the Santa Fe were the two that were known the best. Here in the town of Old Westport, the windswept trail began. But the most of the time, all the folks down there just drowsed in the Kansas sun. Yippee-yi-yi and a yo-ho-ho. Get along, you swamps, get along. I'm rolling free for the lone prairie, just a sail and a sing a song.
Yippee-yi-yi and a yo-ho-ho. We're sailing along on high. Just Molly and me o'er the lone prairie on our wagon way up in the sky. On our wagon way up in the sky.
All right. The third tall tale takes place in the North Woods, the land of the tallest trees, tallest tales, and the tallest men called the lumberjacks. No. I mean the lumberjacks. The loggers who tell these tall tales. Now, when winter comes along and the icy winds start to blow, the icy winds start to blow, these lumberjahns don't put on their long winter lumberjacks. I mean, they don't long their junk. Wait a sec. Hold that, Jack. All right, that's enough with the icy wind. Anyway, these big husky lumberjacks don't stand around in the cold building snowmen and throwing snowballs. No. Thank you, Jack. They hole up inside their bunkhouses and they sit around a nice warm pot-bellied stove. Joe, where's my pot-belly? Oh, boy, I almost got potted that time. What am I laughing about? All right, now. These lumberjacks, they was Nordics and Swedes. All right, Herman, my Swedish pill. Oh, by Jiminy, that was good. Well, as I was saying, yes, sir, jumpin' Jiminy and all that talk. They relaxed all winter around the pot-bellied stove, and this is where their pot-bellies grew. Oh, what am I saying? What I mean is, this is where the tales of Walt Bunyan grew. He was the biggest and tallest legendary character of them all. Yes, sir. They gathered round a pot-bellied stove away from the wind and the cold. They told many tales of the hero bold. Paul Bunyan was the one. Hey, Paul. Paul Bunyan. The more they talked, the more he grew, till he grew as high as the buzzards flew. Hey, Paul. Paul Bunyan. North America was a great big land with a great big job to be done. A job that needed a great big man. Paul Bunyan was the one. Yes, sir, as you can see, Paul and Babe become real buddies. Just like me and little Herman here. Isn't that right, Herman? Herman? Answer me, what are you doing? You're sleeping already. Wake up! Anyway, if you think Paul and Babe did some big things up to now, wait till you hear what Short Gunderson has to tell.
I'm river foreman of a timber camp near the Oregon Trail.
Tomorrow is a festival of flowers on the 90th Tournament of Roses Parade. See 61 rose-covered floats and 22 marching bands in the New Year's most beautiful spectacle. Next, watch a special 2-hour emergency. Newly promoted captains Gage and DeSoto reminisce about the greatest rescues of emergency. And to save his kidnapped friends, Jack Cole must stop a millionaire high-fashion design thief on Sword of Justice. All on NBC.
I have just the name for you. Pinocchio.
Why, I can see your name in lights. P-I-N-U-O-P-I... The one and only Pinocchio.
Makes no difference who you are. You'll love Walt Disney's Pinocchio. Rated G.
That's it. Pinocchio it is.
Coming this Christmas to a theater near you.